God bless each and every one of you. Hey, there you go right there. There you go right there. Let me see if I can get dual screens up here. There you go.
Oh, there I am. Okay, let me
There you
move
go.
this. I don't look crazy.
What's going on, my
Oh,
friend?
where am I? Settle this way. There we go. All right, how we doing? All right, y'all, keep your voices down. We online.
I'm doing fine, man. How about yourself, brother?
Doing awesome. Breathing vertical, seen and not viewed.
Appreciate you joining us. We had you last year, and I got such positive feedback. And they were asking me questions. I'm like, well, we got to get the big fella back on here. And
honor.
And we thank God for this opportunity, man. And I would like to have 5 or 10 minutes, 10 minutes of 10 or 15 minutes of questions at the end if they want to.
Okay.
Man. So we're going to start off with a word of prayer. If you don't mind, let me say a word of prayer. Father, in the name of Jesus, we thank you for this opportunity, Lord, to minister to your people. You said in your word, Lord Jesus, that you would have us be in good health and prosper even as our soul prospers, and that our body is the temple of the Holy Spirit. And I pray, Father God, that this conversation would be a blessing to those that hear it, that it would motivate them and stir them up to honor their temple by what we put in it. In Jesus' name, amen. Amen. I'm gonna leave my hat off, man. All right, man. So we're gonna start this thing off. Just tell us a little bit about yourself, JC. Tell us a little bit about yourself, how you got started, and how you became interested in fitness and nutrition, and how long this journey has taken you.
Well, I'll tell you, it all started with way back, many moons ago. I was 10 years old. I started taking karate classes, and at 10, all of a sudden, as soon as I started taking them, we had about 3 to 4 parents that would pay me $2 a week to train their children in what I was learning as I went to karate class. So I take
10 years old.
I was 10 years old.
Wow.
We had about 4 students. Wow. so it was almost prophetic almost. So I would take my little white belt, put my clothes, the dirty clothes in it, in a bag, in a pillowcase, tie it to the beam in the basement. That was a heavy bag, and we went to work. Mm-hmm. So I began to draw out my gym that I wanted to have back then, and started studying a lot on fighting, martial arts. And then when I started getting to high school, I started studying weight training and that. And from there, I never quite saw the idea of it being a business. I just simply loved what I did. So I found myself in college. I was in Hubbard Hall at Michigan State, and decided I'd run up the stairs. Well, state thing. I was at Michigan State, and decided to do 9 laps up the 9 floors of stairs in the hall. And next thing I know, I had 30 people following me. Still had never had the idea that it was a business. I hadn't got there yet. But then what happens? I got married, and I got married, my wife got pregnant. I got pregnant, and put on a bunch of weight. And before I knew it, I was almost 290 pounds. I went to the doctors, and the doctors began to tell me that I was going to have I was borderline diabetic, that I had blood pressure, and it was hereditary, that I had cholesterol issues, and all of that was going to require me to be on medication the rest of my life. Suddenly, as I began to look at the prospect of blood pressure meds and cholesterol meds and the side effects of them, I was hit with motivation to get my life together. So in 3 months, I changed my diet, changed my workout ethic, and dropped 65 in 3 months. All of a sudden, no blood pressure issues. My cholesterol changed. No more borderline diabetic. And from there, helping people in the gym, as I see them doing stuff wrong, just led me to help them. And as I got help, I kept getting these funny eyes from folk. Then I found out who they were. They were personal trainers, and they were pissed because they was taking their money. So I found out what they made, and decided, you know what, I could do one of them things. So back in 2003, I began my journey as a personal trainer. Right out the gate, we had a level of success because it was all based on diet and exercise. So we call it Act Right plus Get Right. Get Right. My first client was a 60-year-old young lady with bad knees, and she was about a little over 300 pounds. They dropped 60 with us in about 10 weeks. And from there it was on. since then, from 03 to now, it's about 18, going on 19 years. We've seen a million testimonies. I love what I do. I was able to retire from my job as a construction estimator back in 13. And God's kept us ever since, as we've seen lives change through changing lifestyles.
Hey, man, I was one of them. I believe I joined your gym 2013 through 2012, 2013. And you know what? I mean, I believe it. I believe it was of God because, like I tell you the story. You know, I saw one of your flyers in the store, and I usually don't pay attention to flyers, but I just disgusted with myself. I said I needed change.
That's what it takes.
Said I needed change, and I came and visited your gym, man, and I came in there and I saw what you was doing. I was always a person that was very competitive.
Yeah.
And, and I came in and I did my thing, man. And I left sore, but I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
I came back, man. So this was a godsend, and I pray that this is a godsend for other people.
Yeah.
And you know what you said. What's your take on 2022? Make a better you.
Yep, it is commit to you in 22. Commit to you in 22.
So what is the biggest obstacle for people committing to change or eating right to themselves? I mean, because if you look at it, I mean, and I was one of them. You know you have diabetes, but you still eat the cake, you eat the sugar. You know you have high blood pressure, but you still eat the pork. You know, what do you think is in your opinion, is the biggest obstacle?
The biggest obstacle, I'm gonna tell you, when I was in school, they had we had algebra class, right? The algebra class, everything was based on solving for X, right? You solve for X, you can fix any problem. Well, in life, the problem is you need to solve for Y. And Y is your WHY. Why am I going to do this? Why am I going to do what I don't feel like doing? I tell people that motivation is not a feeling. It is a reason good enough to make you do what you.
Okay, his screen froze on me.
It's like people don't like going to work. A lot of times don't feel like going to work. The clock go off, they complaining and they crying about it. But guess what? You get up and go to work because you're motivated by the desire to eat and live indoors. So what you have to do is we have to find a reason that forces us to do what we need to do, because you're not going to always feel like working out. You're not always going to always feel like meal prepping and eating correctly. But what you do know is that if you do what it takes, you get what it does. And that's the main thing. So we talk about committing to you in 22. What we're talking about is not selling ourselves short, not telling ourselves we're going to do something that we're not going to do, but actually having a commitment. What would happen in life if we ever just flat out committed that we're not going to stop until we get this done? What would happen if I gave everything I got to a goal? If I gave everything I got to what I want to make happen? What happens? Because at that point, there's no stopping me. And when we get that mindset, then we'll do the things that we don't want to do. And what happens most time, the biggest obstacle is a good enough reason, period. And for some people, a reason might be a change of outfit, maybe a trip they're going on, maybe a birthday celebration, and that's cool for a period. But you got to find a bigger reason. You got to have a bigger vision. What do you think about your life? What do you want to look like, feel like in 5 years? You know, at 20, I was eating anything I could, anything I wanted to. Go down in the basement, work out 2 hours. My six pack was back. At 54, not so much.
Right, yeah, that's true.
So do I want control of my life? Do I want to live a quality of life where I am cognizant, where I am able to do things for myself, where I can enjoy life, where I'm not walking up the steps huffing, where I'm not worried about my ankle swelling, where I'm not worried about being on these high blood pressure medications. A lot of dudes don't realize one of the side effects of blood pressure medication is your blood flow slows down, which affects some other things. So now you got all these direct out dysfunction things we're talking to married people now, all these direct out dysfunction things that you got to take because that ain't working. A lot of things are happening. Your heart issues, your blood pressure. Is that's a dog?
That's my dog, man. He just keep playing, man. He just want to keep playing.
Let me in.
He want to play fetch. He always like he brings the football. He brings the football. Come here. Let the people see you, man. You see that? You see that he want to.
Ain't no but love. Ain't no but love.
The football and he wants to play. Get out of here, man.
Ain't no but love.
Micah, get this ball out of here, man. I'm sorry.
Yeah, but what happens is, DC, the biggest obstacle is a good enough reason. Right. That is, listen, we'll talk some how, but all the how in the world don't mean nothing. You were there. You were sitting around the answer for years, but it took a resolve to make the change. And we've seen that. We've seen people that have been with us 4 or 5 years, took 5 years before they dropped 50 pounds, you know. Then we see people walk in and inside of 3 months, their why was big enough to drop that same 50 pounds. It all depends on somebody having a reason that makes it happen. And a lot of times the issue we have is health is so intangible, you know. It doesn't have a fixed deadline that we're aware of. You know what I'm saying? You got a deadline, you just don't know what it is. So we think we got tomorrow. But I like in Rocky 3 when Apollo Creed turns to Rock and says, there is no tomorrow. All you got is today. Every day we go to bed looking for tomorrow. We wake up in today, and that's all you got. And we got to learn how to use it. When you talk about faith, faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. That's not a tomorrow thing. That's a now thing. Right? Now faith is. It's right now.
You're preaching.
Right. Every now and then. but it's the truth. It's a thing where we have to literally find something that makes us, if not for you, for your family, for you want to be an example for your children. A lot of times our kids don't do because they don't see us doing. We're not keeping our word to ourselves, and so they don't feel it's necessary because they think we're just talking. All right, people around us, our partners, our women, our friends, they're all looking like, they're just talking. It's January, they'll be over in 2 weeks. But we need to this year decide. This is the time. We've been through COVID, and if you live through that, you're blessed. If you live through that, if you own it, you live through that. But if you live through that, you was blessed. We've been through the year after COVID when they opened up the doors and we didn't know how to act. And now here we are in 2022 with the opportunity to bring our lives not to normal, but to better, to greater, to aspire. All right, and our aspirations should take us up higher in life as opposed to bringing us down. And I'm telling you, I've sat through a lot of folk that's been stroking out. Folk that have been dealing with having congestive heart failure and all of that, and the folk that a lot of people that didn't make it through COVID simply because their conditions were so dire that when something hit their immune system, they couldn't handle it. Right. You know, It's been all around me. It's been all around folk around here. But a lot of times, because of the fact we were active and we had a lifestyle of healthy living, or trying at least doing better than the norm, we were able to stave it off. You know, and you'd be amazed, you know, the body is designed to take care, to heal itself. And if we feed it correctly, but oftentimes we don't treat our bodies like we treat our cars.
Right. Yeah, you're right. I mean, you said a lot of good things, man. And I was just up here writing some of them down. You talked about faith and feeling, you know, and this has to be more than feeling, because feelings, I found this in my personal journey. Oh yeah. Feelings have robbed us of a lot of tomorrow. You keep on saying, I don't feel like, whenever you say I don't feel like exercising, or I don't feel like eating right, I feel like eating something that makes me feel good. When you depend upon feelings, it's actually robbing you of the opportunities that God has given you. And you know what? We pray. Some people pray for God to help us lose weight. We pray for help on our diet. We pray on help on so many things, and we don't realize that God has offered us help. That God has offered us help. But the thing is, we don't see the help, and we don't take the help. That He has given us. He's given us the grace to lose weight. We're living in a technology age. And fitness is a big thing, especially during this COVID. I mean, Orange Theory, so many places, Fitness, Planet Fitness, Zone here, Zone there. I mean, it's so many opportunities, but you have to have the faith. You must be willing to change. You have to be willing to change. And that's something that God is not going to make us do. It's something that you have to do. It's something that you have to want to do. And then you said reason. Man, I'm telling you, when you're talking about just knowing what eating right can do, and the changes, and the changes. That's one thing I like about your gym, man. When I've seen people come in, I've seen people. I've come in and I've seen people who changed their lives.
Yep.
I mean, and that motivated me.
Yeah.
That motivated me.
Yeah.
I was borderline diabetic myself. High blood pressure, borderline high blood pressure, and the joints was getting stiff, and the stomach was getting big.
Yep.
And I said, you know what? I want a better quality of life, because I had my children at a later age. I had my children like around 35, 36, and I said I want to be able to run and play with my children.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, so that was a big enough reason why. My mother used to always say, Darryl, take care of yourself so you can be here, play with your kids and take care of your kids. And man, I'm telling you, I'm 55. I'm living the best life right now, baby. I'm telling you, man. And that's reason right there. That's reason right there. And another thing, not last but not least, but investing in yourself. What can you talk about investing? And we invest in so much, but we do not invest in our health.
Listen, that's so huge. You know, I tell people, when I'm usually talking about nutrition, I tell people that, you know, we make sure that our car has the best of everything it needs so it can function properly. But how often do we simply give ourselves anything? You know, we'll invest in our hair. Well, not me. We'll invest in our hair, eyelashes, nails, our clothes, shoes, everything else. But you are the asset. You're the asset. When you go down, everything goes down. Yeah. If you don't have no health, you can't make no wealth. If your health goes down, your mind goes down. And what we need to do is treat ourselves as if we are that asset. Listen, a lot of times, because you know we got a lot of women around here, and they take care of their families. They got kids, they got school, they got all this other stuff there. They're trying to juggle all these things around. But and oftentimes the mindset will be to neglect themselves for feeling selfish for wanting to do something for them.
Don't worry about the noise. That's creative noise. That's
yeah. It's it. We at a gym. So hey, what you do about that? But listen, but the thing is, if we don't take care of us, we can't take care of nobody else. Period. Bottom line. So investing in whether it be gym membership, whether it be a camp membership, Peloton, whatever it is. We need to take that time and not just invest in things and gym memberships and that, but invest in knowledge. There's so much knowledge available out there. You know, you can get on YouTube and learn just about anything. Period. All right. You can go to Google. You can Google just about anything. We need to spend more time developing ourselves, because truth be told, you can't see changes until you make change. Bottom line, you got to make the changes that are necessary in order to see change in your life. Period. And that is the thing that it's going to take, is for us to look at ourselves as, I am the asset. When I'm running right, things run right. When I'm not running right, nothing runs right. And when I begin to take that mindset and then stop worried about what's on me and start worrying about what's in me, you know, then all of a sudden I can begin to see I feel better. I can move better. I can think better. I'm clearer. You know, I'm getting the rest that I need because I know I need it so I can be able to function better. I'm getting the proper nutrition so I have the fuel to do the things I need to do. I'm moving my body so I can continue to move it. The less you move, the less you can move. Bottom line.
Just something that come across my mind. You know, you got to realize that it's a process. Change is a process, and it's not going to be something that's going to happen overnight. Sometimes you're going to fail. But you just got to be willing to make like you said, commitment.
And that's what it takes. That's exactly.
Rarely in life are we going to do something where we're going to succeed 100%. Change is a process, and you changing your diet. You change your diet, you still going to have cravings for sweets.
And make adjustments all the way.
And you got to find that balance.
That's the big thing right there. That is the big thing. At this age, I recognize now where I thought before success was a dollar amount, it was a certain lifestyle. Success is balance. Success is when I've got my spiritual life balance. I got control of there. I got control of my financial life. I got control of my career life. I got control of my family life. I got control of my emotional health. I got control of my social life. I got control over over my I say family life already. All right, so I've got control over those. That's balance. And the moment anything changes, you're out of balance. So we are constantly adjusting, but it's all part of the process. I call it the process of progress. All right, and that is you learn, you go, you continue to grow. Bottom line, whatever you go through, you grow through. Hopefully. If you learn from it, you don't, then you just do it again. But it's a thing where what we say around here is you got to be consistent, persistent, and resilient. Right. Consistent, persistent, and resilient. Consistent, in other words, do it all the time. Let it be known that I know I'm gonna see you on Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Almost guaranteed that something come up. Or I know I'm gonna see you on Tuesday, Thursday, and whatever, because them are your days, or whatever it is. Be consistent, and then what happens is life gets in the way, and it's going to challenge your consistency. Now, are you persistent? So when life starts to get in the way, when things start to change on you, when situations arise and circumstances arise that could challenge your resolve to do what you're doing, are you persistent enough to say, I don't care what's going on, this is important, so I'm gonna stick with it, I'm gonna keep it going. And then you got to learn how to be resilient, because sometimes you're gonna make some wrong decisions, you're gonna mess up, you're gonna learn how to bounce back. The key thing is, you'll hear me say in class all the time, recover quick. It don't matter, ain't a problem that you rest. 1098-765-432, back at it. The quicker you recover, the quicker you get back to moving. And we all gonna fall. We all gonna have in moments. Bottom line is, how quickly can I dust off and keep it going? It's not about sitting around in a pity party talking about what I didn't do or that I messed up, so I forget it. It's about getting back up. Now I learned from this. This is what I need to do. I know these cravings come. If I'm up too late, go to bed. I know if I don't even drink enough water, I got this issue, drink the water. I know that if I don't hit my meals, that I'm going to crave some things, eat the meals. But we have to learn how to recover. And we learn from mistakes we make. A mistaken step is better than a not taken step. Like I say all the time, it's easier to redirect the car moving in the wrong direction than it is to steer parked.
That's true. You say, going back to commitment, I have down here, it starts with, it's a mindset also. You have to commit a certain amount of time to yourself. Invest to committing a certain amount of time to your health. I don't care if it's walking around the corner. Start small. Start. Walk. Just do something. I don't care if it's 10 jumping jacks, 10 push-ups, 10 sit-ups. You do it until you become persistent, and so that's one thing that you can remember, put in your mind. It starts with a commitment. Commit to investing amount of time, like your class. I look forward to your class. Because it's a time of challenging, and there can be no change if there's no challenge. Exactly. It's a time of challenging. And it's a time that I invest in myself, and my wife lets me do that.
Yeah, that's a blessing.
She lets me do that. That's why I love her so much, because she supports me, and she supports me in my weight loss.
That's a blessing.
Like today, she made them air fried wings and a salad and some mixed vegetables. You got that, and you got to have people to support you.
That's a blessing. That's a real blessing
to support you. The Bible says 2 is better than 1 in a threefold cord. It's hard.
And let me jump in there too, BC, because it's a blessing that you have that support. But let me say this to you that don't have it. Now, I'm looking directly in the camera now, because a bunch of y'all out there, you got a man, you got a woman that ain't on the same page. But let me tell you how you can get them on the same page, and if they don't get on the same page, they ain't gonna get there. Is you have to commit to doing this, because a lot of times they're expecting you to fall off because you fell off so many times before. So what happens if you decide that you're going at this thing, and when they show up with that cake to see what you're gonna do, that pie to see what you're gonna do, that fried chicken to see what you're gonna do, when they start trying to bring distractions and things, are you gonna fall off again, or are you determined to be persistent and keep it moving? Sometimes you got to do like David says, you got to encourage yourself, because you may not have somebody to encourage you. You got to decide that this is my thing that I'm gonna do. Now, if you get when you get them, we have a couple that just started here, Charles and Rashawn. I hope y'all watching at the 5:30 class. You work out with them, and they're doing it together. They struggle together. They're working together. If they continue, they're gonna win together. We had Alonzo and Dez come in and do it. He dropped 55. She took 12 inches off in 12 weeks and changed the entire trajectory of her life. But you can do it as a couple, and it's a blessing if you got that. But if you don't, there is absolutely no excuse that you can't do it. You want support, but if you ain't got none, you support yourself.
And you know what? If I may chime in, that's one thing I like about your gym or your place is that you support, you push us, and we support one another. If somebody has won by losing 5 pounds in that week, you acknowledge it. And there's no jealousy, and there's no hating.
That's a blessing.
So that's a little point to your gym.
That's huge.
That's why I love it, man. We push one another, and we all win. It's competitive, but it's not a competitiveness to put you down. It's just I'm doing it. I want to push you.
Positive peer pressure.
Exactly. But yet you go at your own pace. So I want to ask this question.
Go ahead.
Then we're going into the how. Is there such a thing as a person's health being too far gone for them to change? Is there such a thing as a person's health being too far gone?
No, don't make me go spiritual on it, because if it was, he wouldn't have went to the cross.
Well, brother,
he left me right there.
Where does the Lord lead you?
But no, it's no such thing. There's no such thing. At any level, I have a friend of mine. Her name is Rose Parker. She's in the macrobiotic diet, which is one of the strictest diets you can have, and she's into it because she had breast cancer. All right, I met her in '93. She was recovering right then. She brought herself back from breast cancer with her diet. All right, she did it again in '98. Now she's in her 70s and she looks the same as she did when I met her in '93. So in the meantime, between time, we met a young lady by the name of Crowley. Her last name is Crowley. I can't think of Sherry Crowley, and her father was in cancer. Had cancer, and my sister shared with him Rose's information. And right now today, he's still around here. And that was 19 years ago. So no, it's not too late. It's not too late. You can actually, the body, if it has what it needs, is designed to heal itself. And that's a big, big thing. I don't want to use the 5 letters that get us all in trouble, but I'm gonna tell you right now, if you take care of your immune system, take care of your body, you can fix it. So yes, so you got what you call big. We have a young lady right now. In fact, she's across the way from me. She walked in this door at 405 pounds. And most folks say she couldn't have done the workouts that we do. She's standing here right now, 110 pounds down, 7 months later. And you know what? You here, you saw her. She struggled through, she got through. You do what you can, do what you want. Never do less you're capable of, and always do more than enough. And the process of progress is going to get you where you need to be. And that's not just a plug for the camp. That's a plug for life. People love to pity you. They love you to be where they're comfortable with you being at. So they'll support and they'll push to be like, oh, be happy with yourself. Listen, be confident in whatever state you are. If you're 400, be confident in being 4. But recognize that you would function better if you got your weight in line. Your body's designed to function at a certain frame. And if it ain't there, it ain't gonna function correctly. You're putting too much pressure on it. So all the way down, love yourself. And let me tell you something. If you don't love yourself, you're not going to do what it takes. Bottom line, because you won't believe that you deserve it. Recognize that you deserve a better standard of living. You deserve the ability to be able to run up the stairs. You deserve the ability to tie your shoe without taking a break. You deserve the ability to not have to be subject to 17 medications. And each one of the medications is going to have 20 side effects to it, because you're organic and you're introducing chemicals to your system. So the bottom line is, no, it ain't too late. It's only too late if you say it is. Whether you believe you're right or you believe you're wrong, you're right.
And let me just say this, because you just brought this point up. You know what? And I just see many people have gotten medicine because of the diabetes, because of the high blood pressure, because of the arthritis, and they have become set and dependent upon that medicine.
Yeah,
the problem is that medicine is not meant to heal you. It's meant to help you cope. But you have the power. God is giving you the power. He is giving you what you need to get off the medicine. So if you can just explain that, and then we're going to get to that, because a lot of these medicines are not meant.
Let me tell you something.
We should not be. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Listen, let me tell you something. I don't mind getting in trouble, because I'm gonna tell you right now, I'm a huge believer in being as organic as you possibly can and take care of yourself. All right. I ain't telling anybody to jump off their medications. I'm telling you to get your stuff together and you come off. We've had people come off for diabetes meds, heart meds, blood pressure medication, cholesterol meds inside of 8 weeks. All right. And that was with the doctor looking saying, you know what, you don't need this no more. On the other contrary-wise, we've had folks to drop 50 pounds, change their stuff, normalize their blood pressure. They kept them on the blood pressure medication. They wound up stroked out because they shouldn't have had it in the first place. All right, you want to be in control of you. We got a phrase on at Jones Athletic Gear that says "own your life." All right, and bottom line is, a lot of times, and you know, being in church, you hear people, I rebuke diabetes, or rebuke that cupcake, rebuke that ice cream. Rebuke the cheddar biscuits. That's what you rebuke. Once you start rebuking that, God already gave you the cure. He put you in front of folk that told you can't eat that, right? And you can't eat it all the time. So what does that mean? You have to take control of that now. Now, faith without works, God takes all the way back, is dead. In other words, you can say you believe it, but what you do shows whether you do or don't. Let me stop and pause on that one. What you do with it is going to determine whether you do or don't. To know better, not to do better, is like not knowing. It doesn't do you any good, you know. So we have to be realistic about things. Stop rebuking stuff that you need to work on. You know, stop looking for God to do a miracle to heal something that He already gave you the ability to heal. What you got to do is be disciplined. Discipline is the bridge between where you are and where you want to be. And you hear me say, listen, any of these sayings you're gonna hear me say, you hear me say them for years, because I believe that. I flat believe it. And when we start being more disciplined, God can bless us in these areas. The funny thing about this thing is, if you can be disciplined in one area, that discipline begins to translate to other areas. Because then you start, when you get one area in order, you start thinking about how I can get in order in these other areas. I got this. I'm gonna share this, and I'm gonna give it back to you, DC. You know, you got two of us down here. You know, I feel like I'm at back at the podium.
Go ahead, brother.
The ultimate strength we have is in purpose, because purpose is a funny thing. When you have a purpose begins to make you set priority. All right. Without, the Bible says, where there's no vision, the people perish. Right. He that keeps the law, happy is he. That word vision means to cast off restraints in Hebrew. All right. What that means is, without the vision, you got the brakes off, which means I'm open for anything. If your brakes is off, I'm riding on the gas and I can't stop. Hey, we wonder sometimes why we do some of the stupid stuff we do, because we're not driven by vision. But when I'm driven by vision, I think about how my next move is going to affect where I'm trying to get to. All right. And that begins to make me set priorities. So, yes, I want to eat this, but my priority says I'm trying to get somewhere by this particular date. I don't want to go meal prep, but my priority says I got to have nutrition I need. I don't want to go to the gym. I don't feel like it, but my priority says I'm trying to get somewhere, so I got to do what I got to do, even though I don't feel like doing it. All right. Priorities makes us set boundaries. Boundaries are super important, because what happens is, when I got boundaries, when you call me and say, I need to, let's go out and hang out, let's go eat some chicken wings, let's go, you know, and drink or whatever it might be, I got to now weigh it against what I'm trying to do. I got to set my boundary. When you call me at 5:45 and say, man, forget the gym, man, you work out all the time, let's go do this instead. And I'm looking at my priorities and saying, I can't do that because I have a goal I'm trying to meet. I got something I'm trying to do. Boundaries set something called order. Right? Boundaries set order. When you get stuff in order, now I can we just call it mitigate risk. I can handle things because I have the order to how I have a structure to what I'm doing. Right? That's the reason when you come in here that all the classes are structured. It ain't just come in and just do what you want to do. We have a program that we're working through that forces you into a structure. We have a set time. You know, it's a 10 o'clock class. 10:05, you owe me 50 push-ups. At 10:10, you owe me 75. 10 to 15, you owe me 100, because we want to get you into a structure of being where you're supposed to be, when you're supposed to be, to do what you're supposed to do. You know what I'm saying? And when you get that order brings about progress. Because once I get in order, funny thing with order is, when I'm paying attention to the bills and the money I'm spending, Then all of a sudden I start catching up with things. When things happen, I'm not as thrown off. Chaos doesn't rule when there's order. And when order comes, then progress begins to happen. And progress leads to success. And that's bottom line. We got to have purpose, and purpose brings priority. Priority brings border. Borders bring order, and order brings progress. Bottom line. That's the process.
Man, that was wonderfully said. And that was wonderfully said. And I'm reading Sister Lakeisha's point. It said we need to do what we can and trust God to do what we can't. Some things are in our control,
Bottom line.
And that when that just brings back to the point about the medicine.
Yeah.
When we align our lives up with God.
Yep.
When we come in line with God, God will bless us.
Yeah.
God will bless us. When we eat out, when we start bringing our diet, whether it's our finances, whether it's our diet, whether it's our marriage, when we come into agreement by obeying God's word and doing following the natural order.
Right. It is again.
Natural order. I mean, it's not, our body's not meant to eat sugar. Because sugar is inflammatory to our, it's not meant to eat dairy.
Yep.
It's not meant to drink pop, and certain type of food. But if you want to, you can speak on that for 2 minutes before we go to the next step. If you want to say something about that.
Oh, which one? I got pick one. I got you.
You go ahead, brother. About what the body's not meant. What the body's meant.
So here's the thing. We have to understand that in America, especially, we make food entertainment. We make it boyfriends, girlfriends. We make it friends. We make it confidants. We make it a way of escape. We view food as we make food. We animate food. How about that? We make food. We bring food to life, and it becomes a force in our lives. And we become victims to the fact that we don't see it properly. Food is fuel. Bottom line. Now you can make it taste good, but if you don't, it's still fuel. And so the way we have to look at it is, I need nutrition that comes from this food. That's how our bodies is looking at it. But in our mind, it becomes something else. So now it's got to be a certain amount of sweet. It's got to be a certain amount of salt. It's got to have a certain flavor to it. I can't have, it used to be I would go to lunch. This was back in my big days. I mean, I was here still training people. I'd go to lunch and I'd have burger or corned beef sandwich, fries with it, drink a pop, and then of course you got to have dessert. And that was normal. I can't even imagine that now, but that was normal because it made you feel good till you got back to the desk and you fall asleep. Not knowing why you're falling asleep, you call it the itis. What it really is your body got to shut you down so it can process all of the stuff you done put into it and somehow make this dysfunctional diet you got help you to function somehow when it ain't designed to. And so it literally is a thing where we have to understand that our bodies aren't designed for it. Dairy. Can I hit dairy for a minute? That's a big one for me. I remember coming up in school, and you've seen the milk mustaches on the athletes and all that. They, milk does the body good. No, that's a lie. All right. Milk is cow growth hormone. Bottom line. All right. If you think about a human's breast milk is given to a child to help them grow and to become a human. Right. In the same way, milk comes from a cow given to a calf to help them become cows, all right, which means it's full of estrogen and it's full of different hormones and things that will benefit a bovine animal, but not a human. But because we've been marketed to and we believe that it is good for us and we believe it's taste and we've developed a taste for it, you tell somebody to give up cheese and they lose their mind, all right? But now you're eating fermented cow growth hormone. And all of these things, what happens is our body gets in our body, and we call ourselves lactose intolerant. We're really lactose allergic because we're not supposed to have it, period. All right. And what happens is it gets into our system. Our bodies fight it off. We build up extra mucus. You want a mucus in your lungs. You want a mucus in your cavities, all the other areas that shouldn't have it. Then we think we're getting calcium from it. Well, when they pasteurize it, they nuke out all of the nutrition. And so all nutrition's gone. Then they bring in synthetic nutrients that your body doesn't absorb. So now you got calcium deposits, you got calcium floating around, all these other things, and your body in the meantime because it's designed to make you survive. It's leaching calcium from your bones because it's not getting it. So it's all around. But you got kids with asthma, they should never be getting milk. But in school, what was the main thing they gave you in free lunch?
Everybody got milk, chocolate milk.
Everybody got milk. I'd be sick as a dog sometimes trying to drink that stuff. But they milk and chocolate milk and all that crap. But everybody in there has, but 50% of the kids had asthma. But we're supporting the dairy farmers, and that's a problem. All right. So we have to educate ourselves. We got to make some changes. And it ain't about trying to find another way to do cheese, another way to do. It's getting a paradigm shift that this ain't what we should be eating or taking in.
If you look at it, if you look at this capitalistic society that we're living in, the overall aspect, if I'm wrong, let me know, is to make money.
It is. Bottom line.
And if you look at what they feed us, what they offer to feed us, and the way they prepare it, and then we're the most obese country in the world.
Yep.
And then after we get sick, they offer us a medicine that doesn't cure us. So it's an endless cycle that results in money being made off of us.
Yep.
And no other race is victimized by this than we as Black people.
Because right in the neighborhoods.
You look at what city has a Coney Island on every corner?
Every corner.
Every
corner, Coney Island,
McDonald's, Burger King.
Pick one, you got it.
They just feed it now, and not to mention you got liquor stores, you got all this stuff in the city, in the inner city. Now you got white people there, but it's more so here. So we have to think about ourselves and what's being shoved down our throat. And the thing is that we're so used to it, we don't even think about it.
Yep.
We don't even think about it.
Yep.
That's why you've got to look out for yourself.
So yeah.
You've got to look out for yourself, and you've got to invest again. Going back, you've got to invest in your own health. But before we go any further, if you have any questions, just type them into the comment section, and we'll get to it. But did you want to say something about?
Well, just for it's hard when you.
Go ahead.
I get to wanting to talk about what you just talked about. Listen, when you think about it, again, it goes right back, Proverbs 29:18, where there is no vision, the people perish. Again, the people cast off restraints, because in our inner cities, a lot of times we're so busy surviving, we don't recognize surviving ain't thriving.
Yeah,
all right. And so if we don't develop a purpose-driven mindset to where we start to recognize that these things are available to us. They're available to us, but they ain't for us. You understand what I'm saying? Right. We start realizing that, there's no grocery store where I can get fresh fruit and that near me. So what I've got to do is I got to find a way to go find that. If I'm not going to grow a garden myself, I got to go find those things. I got to go seek those things out, because I know the system around me is designed to have me do this. This is my process. As a child, get caught up on Ritalin or some behavioral medication, which is class 2 narcotic. From that point, get caught up on the next level of medicines and things. Juvenile diabetes is going bananas right now, obesity, etc. From that point, get involved in the hospital system, where now I'm in the hospital because I got diabetes. I'm taking dialysis and so on and so forth, whatever, heart medication, so on and so forth. From there, go from there to basically the funeral home to the graveyard. In the meantime, we're monetized all the way along. If we don't want to be a part of that, we have to have a purpose. What's my purpose? Get myself, and let me dare say, get my generations out of this mess. Stop. I tell people all the time, listen, if you don't love your kids, don't kill them slow. Just do it all at once. Why feed them Lunchables and let them die over time? You wasting money. Mm-hmm. All right, and I say that jokingly, but I'm serious in this aspect. I'll see people come into the camp and join the camp, and so we give them the diet program, and they start doing it for themselves, and they complain about, I have to feed my kids something different from what I'm eating. Well, here's the problem with that. So now you're gonna be healthy, and your kid gonna die. How does that sound? Does that make sense when you really stop and think about it? Or should I be training my child to be in charge of their life so that they can understand the difference or the balance between what you should be taking in and what you shouldn't, so that they early have the, think about it. When we were coming up, as a teenage athlete, if you had been eating the way you know to eat now, right? How much better would your health even be than what it is now?
Yeah, that's true.
You think about that.
True. That's true.
We didn't know. So if you're trained up, when they told me that my blood pressure problem was hereditary, I immediately thought, no, it's obituary. because that may not be a word, but it's one today. It's obituary. Because it came down the line. My mama ate bad. My mama's mama ate bad. My mama's mama ate bad. And ain't nobody worked in the fields. It's my mama's mama. So thusly, we're not even working this stuff out. And now we really ain't, because everybody's sitting down doing this. So literally, if we start right now, if you watching this right now, we start with you and decide, me and my house, we're going to eat like we got some sense. Me and my house, we're going to get active. We're going to go outside. We're going to actually do some things that everybody else ain't doing, because we want to live a life that everybody else is living. If you want to live an extraordinary life, the difference between extraordinary and ordinary is EXTRA. You're going to do something extra. And when you talk about what your kid won't eat, let me tell you what my mama used to do. When my mama was on a diet, I was on a diet. My mama wasn't on a diet, I wasn't on a diet. But when she's on a diet, I was eating exactly what she ate, because she wasn't making nothing else. And if I was hungry, I was going to eat it. If I didn't, well, I was going to lose weight anyway, because I wasn't eating.
But now you're getting into what we in the church call generational curses.
Exactly.
Generational curses.
Exactly.
Like we're just finding this out now because my kids are athletes, and EJ. I got to eat right. I got to get leaner. But I remember giving my sons Lunchables. I remember not feeling, I'm coming off of work, not ready. Me and not home yet. I don't want to cook nothing. So we stopped at Little Caesars to get some crazy bread.
Oh my God, yeah.
Crazy bread and what you call a hot and ready. I remember that now.
Yep.
But now, as they get older, we're like, okay, we got to change these, man. We got to change this, because I don't want them being like that. But okay,
and look at the blessing of that. Think about when that happened. Now they're coming up in their teenage years and that. Teenage and early adult years, right? And they're doing what we didn't know to do at that age. And they're doing it, guess what? Because you doing it and you've instituted it in your life. And they're looking at you at 55 and you running with EJ. And sometimes passing EJ. You know what I'm saying? And they begin to recognize that this is a pattern that I need to, because they've been around it. And that's what we've been lacking in our community, is that we don't have enough people around it. We have enough people that's doing it. And so if you have the nerve enough to be the one, I'm drawing a line here. This crap stops here. This stuff stops. This mess stops right here with me. Not people down the line. Not someday. Not tomorrow. Now I'm stopping it. And you begin to do and be consistent, persistent, and resilient. All right. And you begin to do what you need to do. Then what's going to happen is you're going to translate that down. You train up a child in the way they should go. When they get old, they should not depart from it. The reason I'm jumping around now is my mama had me jumping around at 10.
Man, I'm telling you, you sounding so good. And there's just so many things we already been on here for 49 minutes, and it doesn't seem like it's been that long. And our attitude towards food has to change. You brought something up about how our culture in America, everything revolves around food.
Yep.
Even us as Black people, you see the movie Soul Food.
Soul Food, right.
It's equated with feeling good and having a good time. And when we stress, we look to food. I just discovered that I like to eat because it makes me feel good. It brings me down. It gives me a sense of entitlement, whereas I just feel like I've arrived.
Yep.
It helps me. And my attitude towards food has to change. And if just briefly, how can we change our attitude towards food? Because food plays such a big role in our life, even in the church at the service. My sister frying that chicken downstairs, preaching. You speed up on that message because downstairs, man, I used to eat, man, and I used to be like, she would say, "You want that?
Why you preaching?"
I mean, her food was so good.
Yeah,
so good. our attitude towards food. And then when you see other people laughing and joking and having a good time, and you know, it's like, this is fellowship, man. Yeah. This is fellowship. Yeah. But is how can we change our attitude towards food?
The paradigm shift that has to happen is that we have to start researching and realizing what food does. You know, you mentioned the movie Soul Food, and we all love Soul Food movie. It was dope. It was good. But you know what was interesting was the grandmama was dying of congestive heart failure, and the way they celebrate her was to go back and make a meal with the same stuff that killed her.
Yeah. I never looked at it like that. Never looked at it like that.
That's exactly what it is, you know. And we celebrate like this is how we do. We get together because we associate that food with the happiness of togetherness. Now, Aaron, you can have that same food, happy feelings, with a vegetable plate. Because it ain't the food, it's the camaraderie, it's the communication, it's when I go out now. Because I had to make this mistake when I was married and had my family go, we'd be at Fridays, and I'd be on my phone here, Tanya be on her phone there, kids on their phone there, and ain't nobody talking to each other. We just on the phone. You know, when we start realizing the value of interaction and the fact that we don't need food to necessarily cause that interaction, you know, and we start recognizing what food really is. We assign value where there's no value. We start making food other things, and it ain't meant to be that. It's just, you know, as Jesus put it, I'm not gonna make the stone bread. You know, it's not meant to be something else. It's meant to be fuel. And we start recognizing that, then we take a whole different mindset toward it. You know, yes, you're gonna have times where you want to go out and do something, but that needs to not be the norm. That needs to be the exception to the norm. When it's the exception to the norm, then your body is designed to deal with it. When it's just when you had a quote unquote bad night, your body can deal with that, fix it, detox, get you okay. But when your bad night is every night, now your body's taxed. Now your immune system's taxed. Now you tax it from the inside, and then of course you got the chemicals coming from the outside. That now it's having to fight out the outside chemicals, germs coming from people around you, the stuff you putting inside of you, and it's overworked. You know. So we just have to, number one, recognize what it is. Anything that has power over us, it has that power because we have assigned it power, because we don't recognize where it fits, its place. That goes back to, remember we talked about purpose brings priority, priority brings borders, borders bring order. And we start recognizing order, we start recognizing where stuff fits, you know. So food begins to fit in a place where I eat it 5 times a day, not because I necessarily want to, but because it feeds me for what I'm trying to do. And what I'm trying to do becomes more important than the food that I'm doing it with.
You said something previously. We have so much information around us, and yet we don't focus enough. We don't appreciate our health and well-being enough to do research. We'll research on finances, we'll research on building businesses and all these other things, but we neglect our health. Knowledge is so important. When my father, he got diabetes, he started reading. I used to pick up his books, and I gained a lot of knowledge because a lot of things that we thought was healthy growing up, like potatoes and soaked in grease and fried pork chops and fried chicken. We thought that was good eating. You know, we thought, but now you see that it's not, because you see the damage that it does to your body, which leads me to this. What is can you elaborate on food prep versus eating out? Just briefly. Food prep versus eating out. And why shouldn't we eat out?
Number one, if I own a restaurant, I'm gonna make sure that my food tastes good, so that you come back again. And I'm gonna do that by any means necessary. I'm gonna put enough salt in it that it entices you to eat it. I'm gonna put enough sugar in it that entices you to eat it. You know, when you look at oatmeal at McDonald's, oatmeal should be oats, period. Right? Oatmeal at McDonald's has 31 ingredients. 31. Almost every item on the menu has sugar in it, and that's not just picking on McDonald's. It's all across the board. Sugar's everywhere. All right. So when you start talking about going to restaurants, first thing you do when you sit down in a restaurant, what do they bring you first?
Bread.
They bring you bread. They bring you bread so that you eat the bread. The bread fills your stomach up. And so when they bring the food out, now it feels like you got too much food. So you associate going to that restaurant with the fact I got way more than enough. And I love that restaurant because they give you a whole lot of food. They didn't give you a whole lot of bread. Right. And and what happens is we don't realize is the danger of eating that bread is the fact that bread is made of flour. Flour and water make paste, which paste up our colon, stops us from going to the bathroom, all right, which is super, super important. Beyond that, they add a ton of salt to items. You're only getting 2,400 milligrams of salt per day. That's a teaspoon worth of salt per day. And they'll have items in there with 500, 600, 700, 1,000 milligrams of salt right in that one. 7 ounces of a rotisserie chicken breast is 1,000 milligrams of salt. 7 ounces, that's a little sliver. All right, it's 1,000 milligrams of salt right there. That's one item, period. You can put salad dressing on a salad that you get from a restaurant without knowing. And the serving size be 2 teaspoons or 2 tablespoons, and that has 600 milligrams of salt right there, just in the condiment. Not in the food, in the condiment. Not to mention MSG and so on and so forth. And you can't control how it's made. If you go to a Coney and you buy scrambled eggs, they're going to take that. They're going to take this mixture of margarine, which has plasticizers in it, which does not absorb in your system, right? And better, and they're going to put it and they'll squirt it all over it. If you buy grits from them, they're gonna fill it up with a margarine butter mix. You can't control that because you didn't make it at home. If I make it at home, I can control what's in it, the seasonings on it, and what the portion sizes are. If I'm going out to eat, I'm subject to what they're doing, their cleanliness, how they handled the food, where they got it from, what they chose. I used to feel good about getting salmon at restaurants. I didn't realize till I started asking, was it farm raised? And 90% of the time it is. And the problem with that is farm raised salmon is going to have dyes in it. It's going to have antibiotics in it and a bunch of things that are contrary to my health. But I can't control that with them because wild caught salmon costs way more than farm raised does. And if I'm in a business like a restaurant, I'm gonna buy what's cheaper. And so if you want to be in control, you have to cook. Period. You got to take the time. Why? Because I'm committed to me. And that's bottom line. It's ownership, is what it is.
That's exactly it. So if you take the knowledge, I like some of the stuff. You're right, man. Because we went to a restaurant Saturday, and Sunday, and I saw them. They put the little butter mix in there. And the oils and the salt. And I've never tasted rice like that before.
Oh, delicious.
But it was because the butter and the salt. It was the butter and the salt and the sugar and the oil that they put in it. And and so like you said, you can control what you put in, and a lot of that stuff that they put in it, we become addicted to.
Exactly.
We become addicted to it, and that's the purpose to get us to come back.
Yep.
Man, those eggs tasted good. I don't know what they did. You rarely just see them crack an egg, boom, and that's it.
Yep.
But you don't. But you see them squirting stuff on it, and they're good at that at Coney Island.
Oh man.
And not to mention that McDonald's where you don't even see them prepare.
No, they put so much stuff in that. That it's just mind blowing. In fact, one of my favorite little egg spots, I come to find out why why is it that this egg is so different from one of the places? They're putting pancake mix in it. Which makes it rise, make it fluffy. It's delicious, but it's contrary to what I'm trying to do diet-wise. So you can't control that,
Not only that, but you save money.
You save a lot of money.
You save money. You save
sometimes $200 a week.
You save money. My goodness.
Yeah, think about on the weekend, just the weekend. Chili's or Fridays or something like that, right? And you got your family. You out $100 to $200 every time you do that twice in a week. That's $800. That's $400 to $800 in a month. That could have been put on something far more productive.
And I'm just reading these comments. I forgot the question. Oh yeah, the portion size. How important is the portion size? Because like you say, when they go out, they want you to come back because they give you. You look at that. Way too much. I did not know that your meat should be a size of a deck of cards.
Yeah.
And and your meat should be portioned.
Mm-hmm.
You know, people figure, and you know, how important is portion size?
It's super important. Number one, you need to know for your body size, your body type, your activity level, all that. You need to know what your body requires or what it should be having, and then you got to make adjustments once you get there. You know, when we got put our diet program out, we'll usually the portion size for protein maybe 4 to 7 to 8 ounces, depending on your size, depending on whether you're man or woman, and depending on how big you are. Carbs usually somewhere between 2 to 4 ounces. I like to say green leafy vegetables between 2 to 6 or so ounces. But you need to monitor, you need to figure that out what it is for you, right? And you need to know how many, what percentage of carbohydrates should my diet be? What percentage of fats? What percentage of proteins? All that. You can find those apps for free online. You know, the app we talk about often, people getting Food does some of that online. There's an app called Spark People that does online. It's a whole bunch of them. But what happens is if I know what portions I'm putting in, right, and something's not working, then what I can do is I can make adjustments. Maybe I'll take out 2 ounces of this in this meal. Maybe I'll take out 2 ounces of that in that meal. Okay, I'm not putting on enough muscle. Maybe put on more protein in this meal. Perhaps I need to change up. My system didn't like when I ate this at this portion. I'll adjust it and see. But if I don't know what portion sizes I'm putting into me, then I don't know what's doing it. You know, I get it all the time. I'm eating right. Well, what does that mean?
So what is that when it says it's healthy, so I can eat as much as I want?
Man, please. No, number one.
People say that about fruit.
Yeah. And not realizing
but I can eat as much as I want.
Yeah, the average person should have about 24 grams of sugar per day. So if you're not measuring, that's the problem I have with these smoothie diets and things. If you're not measuring the amount of sugar you taking in your system, and I may get in trouble, but I'm gonna tell you right now, I've yet to see one physical walk in front of my door person who has been successful at doing them doggone smoothie joints. I'm sorry, sell it to somebody, just don't sell it to my people, because I'm gonna tell them unless you put some greens and some water and some ice together, putting it in your head, don't do it. All right, because bottom line is, the truth be told, we need to create habits. We need to eat. Our bodies are designed to eat. When we put it in our mouth, we start chewing. Enzymes are released to digest the food. It's the process, period. All right. So when you start talking about, doggone it, I'm older kicked in. I got off on that tangent. So, but anyway, what was the question there, DC?
So when they say it's healthy, so I can eat as much as I want.
Yeah. We gotta understand that everything has got to be portioned, because you could do too much of a thing. If you're doing too much fruit, you're taking in too much sugar. All right. If you're doing too much rice, you're taking in too much starch, your body's gonna turn directly into sugar. If you're doing too many potatoes, you're taking in too much, your body's gonna turn it into sugar. If you're doing just an all meat diet, then you risk the fact that you don't have green leafy vegetables in that, and you risk your health from that. So, and even if you're doing a vegetarian or a vegan type of diet, you have to watch how you structure that diet, because of the fact that everything you're dealing with mostly, even as proteins, are starches. So you have to literally pay attention to those things. So no, everything that's healthy, you don't just overdo. It's funny because you go in the health food stores and they always got junk food aisles in the health food store. It's healthy stuff, healthy-ish stuff, but it ain't stuff you're supposed to be doing all the time. They're protein cookies. They're great, and they got protein in them, but they still flour. Protein pancakes, all that kind of stuff, still does the same things that these other things do. They're just a little less dangerous than what you're used to. So we have to literally pay attention. Just because it said, that's like when they say natural flavor. What does that mean? If you don't know, then you have no idea. It could be anything. You know?
So you do this when you do this in your class. You offer this in your class. What area of the supermarket should you focus on when you are doing your shopping, and which areas should you avoid?
You around the outside. You go into the fresh produce section. If you're doing meat, you're doing the meat. If you got to get eggs, you're going around that way. And outside of that, you're getting toilet paper. You should never be in the middle of the grocery store, unless they put the fruit in the middle and they put the vegetables in the middle, which they usually don't. If it's sitting on a shelf, what you have to ask yourself is, how is it doing that? what is it that's making it able to stay up there and it's supposed to decay? Food is supposed to deteriorate. It's supposed to break down. That's the whole idea of it getting in your system. It breaks down and you pull the body pulls the nutrients out of it. If it's not breaking down, how is that cereal box sitting there 6 months? How is it possible? How is that salad dresser sitting there without going down?
That's deep, man. That is deep, and that's right. Things are supposed to break down, but the cereal, the dressings, the pastas, the bread, all that stuff can stay there.
Right
the
there.
Sugars, the flours, the pancake mixes, the fruit bars, the juice, the candy, all that stuff can sit there for a while, and then they take it and put it in the back.
Yep.
When they change it, they put the old the fresh stuff in the back and put the old stuff in the front.
And they sell it to you.
Yeah. And they sell it to you.
Yeah.
So that's stay around the outside, and that's just the Myers. That's just how Myers is when I go to. It's
most of them are around the outside.
And you do a shopping. You do a how to shop.
Yep. Grocery store field trips, cooking camps. We do these things just simply. 95% of people go to the grocery store have no idea what they're doing. They're going to do it next month. I got to set the date. And what happens is they're amazed and flabbergasted. We get them out there. We take the app out and start scanning stuff, seeing what's in the stuff that they've been eating or buying. Weighing it against the diet program. How does this affect what I'm doing? And what can I do in here that may even help with recipes and that. But all that's important, and folk don't do that type of research. We just go to the store. And if you notice, right at the aisleway is all the little impulse items that they want to sell you that they get because number one, we go in hungry. We go in without a purpose, without a list, right? That's based on a plan. We go in there and we just go surfing through and then buying stuff, whatever the kids grab and pick up, we put up, and we don't read it. We don't check the labels. You could Google most of the stuff and find out what it does, but we don't bother to do that. And then we become victims of our own demise because we are not paying attention to what we're doing. We're in there. So it's all important because we are God's great, magnificent creation of the greatest machine ever made with all of these intricate systems that we have, but we treat it like a toy we throw away, but you only get one of you.
I want to ask this last question. What can we do to jumpstart an exercise program?
Start. That's what we can do. Start. Bottom line is stop talking about it and be about it. Stay away from two African fellas. One African fella's name is Mbadu. The other guy's name is Finadu. All right. Get away from Mbadu. I'm about to work out. I'm about to get started. I'm about to make it happen. All right. And get away from Finadu. I'm finna do this. I'm finna make this happen. And just do it. Start when you get moving. Like we said earlier on, man, it's easier to redirect the car moving in the wrong direction than it is to steer a park. You just gotta
what's those two guys' name again?
You got Mbadu, and Finadu. Them two, they hang out. Two African fellas. I met them a long time ago. Mbadu and Finadu. I talk to them all the time. Mbadu, come to the gym. I'm about to get started. I'm about to do this. Oh, you about to see this. I'm about to all the time. And Finadu. I'm Mbadu.
Just get started. Just get started, man. And that's one reason I love your gym, man, is because you know what? You have people in their 70s coming in there. You have people that's 300 pounds.
Yep.
You have people all shapes and sizes.
Yeah.
And they come there and they succeed. We succeed together.
Yeah.
We succeed together, man.
Yeah, we don't win until we all win.
And that's what I like about JC. He's about his people, man. He's about his people. He supports Black business. He's a Black business owner himself. Yeah. He's motivational. He's comical. He's a philosopher. He's a preacher. He can do everything. And I just thank God for this brother being in my life, man. And words cannot explain, man. I want to let you know that you can do it. Listen, man, if I could do it,
Yeah,
you could do it, because you may look at me and you say, man, I wish I had his discipline. Listen, man, it's my discipline is bad, but I got the support, and I just want to do it, man. I want to live.
Yeah.
I want to live. I want to live a good quality life. I want to serve God with my temple. I want to give him my best. I've been there, man, when I've been weighed down by food. I just got tired. Got tired. And just, you can do it, man. You can do it. You can do it.
You just got to do it.
Commit yourself to it.
Just got to do it.
And if you don't have nobody, to help you, you come to Jason's place, man.
Come on. We'll be glad to.
Come to his place, man. I'm telling you, he'll sit you down. He has a program designed just for you. If you can't do a push-up, he has for every exercise you can't do, he has a modified exercise for you to do it. He has a meal plan.
Yep.
His rates. See, let me tell you something. The difference between going to Planet Fitness and coming to him. You go to Planet Fitness, you get on the elliptical and you say, okay, 10 minutes, bam, boom. I don't feel like I did my exercise. No, but when you come to his place, you're surrounded by family, man. Family. I mean, if somebody's birthday party come together, they invite each other to the party. They celebrate together. We are family, man. We are family, and we respect one another. And you will love it. I'm telling you, you will love it. We don't body shame. We don't do none of that. But we have a good time. And in closing, JC, man, what would you like to say in closing, brother?
Listen, here's what I want to tell you. You can do anything you put your mind to, but you got to do it. You can win, and you deserve to win if you do what it takes. The bottom line is, ask yourself this question. What happens if I decide today that I'm going to commit this year to making the things happen that I talked about last year, that I dreamed about the year prior, and I'm not going to stop till it gets it done. And I'm going to tell you what's going to happen. If you think about all you've been through, you think about all the things that were against you getting to where you are right now, you're going to do what you did then. You're going to make it happen. You can do this. You just got to do it. Consistent, persistent, and resilient. Stick to it. You got this. And God got you.
Amen. Thank you very much, man. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. And you know what, man? You work hard. You'll feel better. You'll think better.
Yeah.
You'll do better. If you do better, you'll feel better. You'll think better. And man, I thank you, this brother. I love him as a brother, man.
I
appreciate him. I appreciate him, man. If I could, I'll bring everybody to his gym, man.
Hey, listen.
Because he's a brother indeed. He's sincere. A lot of these places just do stuff for money. A lot of these old gym owners are egotistical. My cousin came there with me. And she said, you know what, man, I like this place because a lot of times the gym owner used to try to hit on me, or they was egotistical, or they were just arrogant. But she loved coming there. If she didn't move to another part of the country, she would be there.
And it's a phenomenal job too.
What's your address? What's your address? Your address and what's your rates?
All right, so 16219 West McNichols. We're between St. Mary and Murray Hill in Detroit.
Say that one more time.
16219 West McNichols between St. Mary's and Murray Hill in Detroit. We're on Facebook, the official JC Jones Bootcamp page. Also on Instagram, JC Jones _Bootcamp. One more time, JC Jones _Bootcamp. You can always reach us. Right now in February, we have a deal where for $125 for 4-week trial, you can come to any of 18 classes a week. You get the diet program, access to our online programming as well. 8 weeks right now is on for $210. 12 weeks is on for $299. And of course, if you decide to commit for 1 year, it's $90 every 4 weeks. And again, remember now, that's 18 classes per week available, which comes out to something like $1 a class or something crazy like that. So we recommend if you mention the fact that you heard about us on this show, we'll take $10 off your first 4 weeks All right. So if you mention that you heard about us on this particular live broadcast, we take $10 off your first 4 weeks, because we want to do 3 things. We want to educate you, motivate, and inspire.
And your food program. We got a food program.
We have a meal prep program now where you can get your meals prepped as well. Mike is phenomenal. Again, he started as a fat kid and built himself to a bodybuilder status. He's phenomenal at what he does, and his food is good as well.
Amen. So thank you very much, man. God bless you, man. And you have a great day. Tomorrow I will see you, Lord's will. Like I always say, good Lord willing, and the creek don't rise. And
creek rise and give you a paddle in the boat. You here too?
There might be a snowstorm, but I'm gonna still be there. I'm gonna get my truck.
Fat don't take snow days, neither do we. Listen, love you, man.
God bless you. You take it easy, man. See you tomorrow.
All right, see you tomorrow.